Yo, quick start number 4. So on this one, we're going to fix up our events. And by that, I mean we're going to start organizing stuff. Because right now, the game's very small, like tiny, right? And you're like, this is fine. I mean, why organize? Why do anything? Because it's like this. But as games get bigger and bigger, and trust me, this stuff like piles up quick. Yeah, you're gonna want to have things neatly packed and organized. So how do we do this? Well, we organize stuff by groups. And to do this, we're going to select where we want our group to start. We're going to right click. We're going to add. And we're going to look for event group. Add event group. Here we go. Click. And this thing pops up. And you can drag and drop this thing to whatever you want. And that line shows up. Just make sure you don't like drag it under something so the line gets a bit smaller. Because when that happens, it's different, right? That's making a sub event. We want to make it on the same level as everything else. So now we're gonna right click on the corner where the star shows up, like the 4 points. Right click, click edit, and we're gonna give it a nice color. Cause man, baby blue, no, I like blue, but I can't see anything. So we're gonna make it a dark red, so that it's just nicer to read and work with. And we're not gonna type in anything. Press apply. And now we have this one, right? And we're gonna copy paste this one. And this one is always gonna exist here at the top. It's just nice. So every time you need an event group, you don't need to like, oh, right click, press add, go to event group, then the blue thing pops up, and then you need to change the color. Right? This way, all you gotta do is, oh, I need a group, come to the top of the page, and copy paste. Right? So now we got an event group. What do we do with this thing? Well, what do we got so far? We got controls, right? Pressing the buttons. So let's call this one player controls. Player controls. And now we're going to do the thing that I told you not to do. We're going to grab that first one and we're going to drag it under the event group. And then we're going to grab this one. We're going to drag it as well under the event group. Again, you don't want to make it like this, like a little stair. You want to make the second one on the same level as the first one, but under the event group. So what did this accomplish? It's kind of like we're putting files in a folder, because now we have this little thing. If we click it, it closes, just like a folder. So now you're working on your game, and you're like, oh yeah, what's the controls again? What does left and right do? You go, oh, player controls. Open it. Oh yeah, so if the player has this thing, okay, let me change this, right? So every time you need something, you have a reference to go to. So what does this thing do? When the player is falling, oh, we bounce off the enemy. So let's copy paste, copy paste. And remember, when you're copy pasting an event, when you paste, it always goes above the one you have selected, right? So for example, if I delete this one and I select this bottom one and I paste, see, it goes above the one I have selected. We're gonna call this one uh, bouncing on enemies. Now we know that under here is everything that relates to our character bouncing off the enemy. And we're going to close it. Now, if it's falling and players in collision with the spring. So again, copy, paste, copy, paste. And we're going to call this one bouncing on spring. Just like that. And drag it under. And ta-da! Neatly packed. Now let's do one more. So we're gonna copy paste. Copy. There we go. And we're gonna call this one game code. I like doing this on my games. It's gonna help us further down the line. So we're gonna put everything under one main group, just like that. So now, if we, for whatever reason, we need to change, we need to copy paste our entire code. If we copy paste this first one, so copy. Now let's say, oh, I want to go to a different scene and I'll paste it. We have our code doubled up. All right? So that's useful for that. Let's quickly talk about comments. A comment is something you can add in. For example, let me select this one. And remember, every time you add something, one of these things, it's always going to be above it. So I'm going to go here where it says add a comment. Click. And this thing shows up. Now you can type here something, to keep track. For example, if you're like, oh, I'm not sure about this event, maybe I'll change it later. You can add a comment and that's it. But I like to use these as markers. So just like the group, I'm gonna right click, press edit, change the color. I like to I like to make my markers like this orangey color. Like that's fine. And then the text color, like the grouping, you can't change the text color, but this one you can. And then I'm just gonna type in marker and press apply. And now we have our marker. Now you can copy paste these as well. So you can make a distinction between your events. This is nice for when you're working with like long sheets of code. It's nice to have the visual difference in the colors. And it's going to help us, again, further down the line. And it looks nicer, right? Looks nice and neat. Everything's where it's supposed to go. And we have the good basis to start building more code. Because this way we always know where everything is. And that's about it. I'm going to keep this one to just this stuff. Next one, we're going to do some actual fun stuff. But this is very important, right? Because otherwise, like further down the line, you have like hundreds of events and you're like, oh my God, where is anything? Because you can't find anything. It all looks the same. But this way, it's like you can see the distinctions. And you can close everything you're not working on. And it's nicer, right? Right, cool. So I'll catch you guys next episode.